Hi, it's Taylor with Mom on the Spectrum, and lately I've been doing a series of shorts called Things Some Autistic People Do. So I had another realization today. It's like, as a late diagnosed autistic adult, I keep having these little epiphanies of like, oh, I didn't know that I did that, but now I'm aware that I've done that and I've done it for a long time. So I realized another pattern that I wanted to share with you to see if I'm the only one that does this. But before we share, I just wanted to make sure that you know about my ultimate guide to understanding autism. This is a free downloadable guide that I created for people who are questioning whether or not they are autistic, to hopefully give you some more vocabulary, some terminology to understand what it means to be autistic, what it looks like to live life on the autism spectrum, and hopefully provide some clarity for where you may or may not fall within that spectrum. So check out the link in the description. It is free to download. Super glad you're here. I am a late diagnosed autistic mom. If you enjoy this type of content, it would be great if you could like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then that way you won't miss any new updates. Okay, so again, I've had these little epiphanies where I'm like, oh, I didn't know I did that, but now I can't unsee it. So in one of my other recent videos, I talked about the term safe versus flexible mode. This was defined by Annie Kodowitz in her book, What I Mean When I Say I'm Autistic. I'll put a link to the video where I talk about it here so you can check it out for more information. But the short form is that safe mode is basically a mode where we feel like we can hyperfocus and we don't have to be on guard for potential distractions. Flexible mode is where we feel like we have to be ready to respond to something in the environment. And it's really hard to focus. It's really hard to get going on a project or to start a project. So I've realized as I've been navigating these terms and learning more about my own patterns that I feel like everything interrupts me all the time. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Doesn't matter if I'm working. It doesn't matter if I'm done with work and resting. There is so much that I'm thinking about all the time, like processing things that I'm learning, picking up on patterns, studying people's behavior and language and how they interact with the world. It's like I'm never just in a state where you're not going to interrupt me if you say something to me. And I kind of realized that it's helped give me some more grace because a lot of times I'll feel like frustrated even if I'm just sitting there, it looks like I'm doing nothing. Oh, this would be a great time to ask Taylor a question. I'm not doing nothing. I'm thinking about something really hard. And I'm always busy. I'm always busy dissecting something. And so once I kind of had this realization of like, yeah, how would other people know that they're interrupting me because it looks like I'm doing nothing. And I can lose large amounts of time just sitting there and thinking really hard. And I like doing that. I like just kind of zoning out and picking at things that I've been dissecting and studying just to myself. So I wanted to share that in case anybody else kind of operates that way, because as soon as I realized, oh yeah, everything interrupts me all the time, it's helped me kind of think about what that might be like for other people who feel like, I don't know. I want to be more present when people kind of chime in and have something to ask or have something to contribute, and realizing that I just constantly have this other world going in my head. It helps me kind of navigate between the two of them. It doesn't necessarily make it easier because it still feels frustrating to have to switch out of like my thinking mode into speaking or, redirecting my focus to somebody else. But it does give me more grace and patience, and it's always good to better understand your patterns. And I mean, the thing is, I want people to talk with me and ask me questions and interact with me. I want that. It's just, I think an autistic person's inner world, and I know I'm speaking generally and I don't want to speak for the whole population, but for our whole community, but I think an autistic person's inner world is so complex. And I think part of, we've had to work so hard to create systems and structures to help us understand the world that I sometimes just get locked in there. That's like where I live, it's creating all of these structures that exist here. And I might not necessarily be like showing up in the real world. I'm kind of moving into my own space where things make sense. So yeah, everything interrupts me all the time. So let me know if that's the same for you. Like, what is that experience like? And what other autistic patterns have you noticed about yourself? Because I always love hearing kind of other people's experiences and things that they realize, because I have so many of these now that I'm like, I'm just going to keep having these little realizations of, oh, wow, that's an autistic thing too. That's another pattern I've always had. They're everywhere. Our brains are wild, man. All right. So just a quick little video today. wanted to share that little tidbit. Check out my short series, The Things Some Autistic People Do. I think we're up to like 16 or 17 now, and I just shot a few more today. So those are always really fun. I'd like to hear which ones of those resonate with you. And then check out my ultimate guide to understanding autism, link in the description. All right, see you in the next video. Bye.